Welcome to Is It Really Top 10 YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about top 10 mysterious things found in Antarctica. Before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to Is It Really Top 10 channel for future updates. The Antarctic, a mysterious frozen continent roughly 1.5 times the size of the United States with 99% of its surface covered in ice, is about 1.5 times the size of the United States. It holds 70% of the world's freshwater and 90% of the planet's ice. Because it is the least populous continent, it hides many secrets. Of fact, the more we study and explore Antarctica, the less mysterious it becomes. We already know why the water in the Blood Falls is red and that beneath the heavy layers of ice there are mountains and hundreds of lakes. Scientists haven't been able to adequately study Antarctica because of its remoteness and terrible weather conditions, and it remains buried in ice mystery. Many ideas have been generated by conspiracy theorists in an attempt to discover what mysteries the ancient glaciers hold. The lost city of Atlantis, a Nazi stronghold, a UFO facility, and the world's oldest pyramid are just a few of the things conspiracy theorists believe could be found in the Antarctic, according to conspiracy theorists. Unlike many of the destinations and places listed on the travel, Antarctica is not a popular tourist destination, thus only a handful of you reading this post will be able to visit it. As a result, we've compiled the most interesting facts about Antarctica, attempting to show you the unsolved mysteries surrounding the cold continent while also examining difficult subjects in a realistic, non-sensational light. Let's have a look at some of the most fascinating things, objects, and species found beneath and above the ground in this enigmatic continent, which is mostly populated by penguins and scientists. Number 10. Underneath, Nazi base. There are allegations that the Germans created a base on Antarctica in order to fly to the moon, and that Hitler did not commit himself but instead fled to Antarctica. While these tales are untrue, Germans did explore Antarctica and created a secret station 960 kilometers from the North Pole. It's no surprise that Hitler has been looking for anything in Antarctica. Given his fascination with mysteries, Nazis went on an expedition to India and Tibet in pursuit of the powerful item known as the Spear of Destiny, which would guarantee Hitler victory in war. The Nazi base in Antarctica didn't last long, as it was abandoned after its staff was poisoned by polar bear meat 70 years ago. Number 9. Above the ground, Deep Lake. Deep Lake in East Antarctica is one of the world's most amazing ecosystems. Its waters have a salinity that rivals the Dead Sea, and the saltiness keeps the water liquid even in freezing temperatures. For the most part, the sentient beings who live there are in an extremely perilous environment. For example, swimming in this lake is risky for penguins because the water is much colder than in the ocean. Only 4 species live in Deep Lake, 3 of which are archaea, one of the most resilient living forms on the planet. Except for cold-loving bacteria, no one can survive in such a hostile environment. Number 8. Underneath, ancient rainforests. Do you think this one should be on a list? Of course, don't expect to find a hidden paradise in Antarctica with lush green jungles. Leaf impressions and fossilized wood, on the other hand, plainly prove that rainforests formerly existed in Antarctica. There were also indications of tropical trees, which leads us back to a reliable scientific notion that Antarctica was once a warm zone where ancient civilizations, existed before the Ice Age. It's fascinating to speculate on what future studies on the frozen continent will reveal, because the objects hidden beneath thick layers of ice have a lot of stories to tell, and we're only beginning to discover them. Number 7. Above the ground, Paradise Bay. Although there's nothing mysterious about Paradise Bay, it should be included on the list because it's one of the few flawless expressions of Antarctic beauty. All of the items you've seen on Antarctica postcards can be found there. Giant icebergs, mammoth glaciers towering on a steel blue sea, and playful penguins going about their daily routines, all of which appear to us to be very interesting. It's one of only 2 places on the continent where you can easily step onto the icy land, and it's a great place to visit if you just want to enjoy the beauty of Antarctica without the extremes. Number 6. Underneath, plants. Although it's tough to envision plants growing in this icy kingdom, scientists have discovered some. They're far from average, just like everything else on this continent. In Antarctica, some 300 kinds of lichens and 100 species of moss that can withstand cold were discovered. The majority of them may be found on the continent's western side, which is warmer, but some species can also be found in the continent's colder areas. Tussock grass grows on islands all throughout the continent, lichen grows in gaps between rocks where it can get to water, and green and red snow algae bloom on the underside of floating ice and in the snow. Number 5. Above the ground, the oldest worm in the world. The 50-million-year-old sperm cells on the ancient worm's egg case were discovered in Antarctica, according to National Geographic. The egg case belongs to the Clydelata worm class, which includes species that are long extinct, making it a rare find. Scientists were able to figure out evolutionary relationships between different worm species thanks to this discovery, and they hope to find more ancient specimens during future expeditions. Further investigations of the kind undertaken here will reveal a world of fresh information about the past, says Michael Archer, a paleontologist from the University of New South Wales in Australia. Number 4. Underneath, Gamburtsev mountain range. A group of scientists was trekking across Antarctica when they came upon a tiny ice sheet in the center of an ice sheet and discovered mountains beneath it. Mountains beneath the ice, you've got it perfect. And not just one small mountain, but several large ones. The Gamburtsev Mountains, which run 1,200 kilometers through Antarctica's interior and climb to 3,000 meters, are known as the Gamburtsevs. This mountain range is roughly a billion years old, and it's amazing that it still survives given that geological time should have wiped it out long ago. Scientists have hypotheses on how they were able to stand for so long, but they don't know for sure. Number 3. Above the ground, B-15. The iceberg B-15 is the world's largest known iceberg. It is 37 kilometers broad and 295 kilometers long, with a surface area larger than the entire island of Jamaica. It was sliced out of Antarctica's Ross Ice Shelf in March 2000, and it quickly disintegrated into smaller fragments. This iceberg broke away not because of global warming, but because of a natural long-term cycle that occurs every 50 to 100 years, according to scientists. It's fascinating to note that scientists meticulously traced B-15's path for more than 6 years, until it eventually disintegrated into countless smaller fragments. Some of them are still circulating through Earth's seas. Number 2. Underneath, see-through fish. Please accept the one-of-a-kind see-through fish. This species had to adapt to survive in the cold, which is why it evolved into such a fascinating creature. The loss of hemoglobin, a substance that makes our blood and the blood of birds and animals red, could be the source of transparent coloring. Because an ice fish will perish if it comes into contact with warmer water, Antarctica's seas are essentially its habitat. If see-through fish aren't enough to captivate you, Antarctica is home to a plethora of other fascinating creatures that will leave you dumbfounded. What about dinner plate-sized sea spiders or a colossal squid, both of which are likely inspirations for the mythological kraken? Number 1. Above the ground, world's loneliest ATM. ATMs in New York are nothing extraordinary, but ATMs in Antarctica resemble a holy grail or an item from the lost city of Atlantis. In 1998, Wells Fargo opened an ATM in Antarctica at McMurdo Station, the continent's major scientific hub. The population of this station varies from 250 to 1,000 depending on the season. However, despite the fact that there are more penguins on the continent than people, money is still required. Certainly, the more expeditions dispatched to Antarctica and the better technology scientists have, the more we will learn about the continent's history, which remains a mystery. As marine biologist Hugh Griffiths of the British Antarctic Survey puts it, there are a lot of unsolved puzzles. The more you learn about Antarctica, the more questions it raises, rather than providing solutions. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.